Hey friends, I am here today with Char Margolis, psychic, who is now teaching us how to be psychic with her new book, You Are Psychic, 7 Steps to Discover Your Own Psychic Abilities, how to hone your own intuition. What else, Char?
You need to have the confidence to know that you have this sixth sense. Yes, animals have instinct, people have intuition, and you are psychic.
Yes, you are. And you're going to learn more about how to be more psychic and how to lean into it in this episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. That's what we do here every single day. Back in the saddle, friends. Back in LA, La La
Back
Land.
in it.
It's been a minute. It's actually been months. Excited to be back with you here in studio. We'll start with our quote of the day. We have to learn to use our intuition all the time. The future can change at any moment, at any second, because of someone else's choice or decision. So we need to be in touch with our intuition to know what choices to make and how to prevent problems and how to attain goals. That is from Char Margolis, our guest today. She wrote a book, You Are Psychic. We're going to be chatting with her today. Friends, if you are used to watching this on YouTube and you're like, why is she wearing funny glasses? It's because they're blue blockers. It is still the summer of Heal, friends, and I am continuing on all of my practices that Dr. Allison, who we will have on the show at some point soon, has had me on, and all of them have changed my blood work. Within 2 weeks, I had results. So I'm really excited for my next blood levels to see how that is doing. But wearing blue blockers has been something that I've really, stayed consistent with. And then I have the amber ones at night. Kevin does not like those.
Just because they're too red?
He thinks I look weird.
Oh, he doesn't like them on you.
It's kind of an unfortunate thing when your husband at night thinks you look weird, but
You're like, deal with it.
That's for another show. So friends, Heal Squad, welcome back. Hope you guys are enjoying your summer of Heal. I'd love to know what you guys have incorporated into your summer of Heal. And maybe we start with the queens. Have you guys incorporated any new practices this summer?
Have I? I mean, I kind of feel like I've still been just on my gut journey. I've really been trying to stick to a good sleep schedule, which hasn't been great the last week. I'm not going to lie, but it's been helping a lot. I just know how much my body, like when it speaks to me, I'm like, okay, what are we saying? What are we listening? And typically it's like lack of sleep. So that's been something, I guess, two things in one right there. Listening to my body instead of like being like, what's going on? Going back to Dr. Joe.
Doing all the wrong things and being like, I can't believe what's happening.
Exactly. And yelling at it. It's like, okay, I hear you. What are you trying to tell me? And then, the sleep. I've really been trying to do that more.
Well, it's funny because, again, you guys are so young and to be learning this is so cool. But when you have every expert come in and say how important sleep is for the body to do all the work it needs, it's like it can't do its work until we shut it down.
Yeah.
So the more time you give it shut down, it can go in and detoxify and cleanse and clear out and do all the things it needs to do. It just needs us to shut it down, which I've been doing with Kevin. He'll be like, you want to watch TV? Nope. I want to go to bed. Ooh. And he thanks me in the morning because he's like, like this morning, he's like, thank God you made us go to bed so early. I think we went to bed like 8:30. Dang. Because I actually passed out for a long period of time. So I've really eliminated TV at night. And I'm going to bed really early so that I can get more sleep. But you've also incorporated other things in the summer.
I have.
That's part of healing in a different way.
Well, the other thing that is not what you're thinking, but it's something that just popped into my head. I've been reading for pleasure, like not just like our books that we have, which are amazing, but I've really been reading kind of like just novels and like fantasies and stuff, which for me in my brain,
Harry Potter.
But seriously, like not Harry, but it's kind of made me go into that like dream space in my head again, which is like I really, really love and like something I think I just kind of tapped out for a little bit of that area. So I've been doing that instead of watching TV or...
That's fun.
Yeah. And I've been really loving it.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's been cool. Yeah.
I know, we've watched so little TV.
That's great though.
So little TV. For the TV junkies, it's very strange. But
yeah,
I mean, reading a book is so much better.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's just a different, like, you feel cool. I'm like, dang, I finished a like 300-page book last week.
Did you really?
Yes.
In 1 week?
Yes.
Good for you.
I know. Because I would just get home and I was like, what am I going to do? And I read and then I'll just go for a little walk.
But you're in your own space now, so you
Yeah.
can do all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Life is so different.
Beyond.
Right?
Beyond. Yeah. I mean, that was the first thing I feel like for Summer of Heal. That changed my life.
Yeah.
It really did. So, yeah.
Pooja?
Lots of healing.
I've been journaling a lot, which is something that I used to hate doing because, well, now this is like what's different. I don't do it. I don't give myself a time. I'm not like at 9 a.m. wake up and journal or like at 8 p.m. come home and journal. It's just whenever I'm feeling like I need to, which is good for me because I don't like rules. Like if there's a rule to something, then I'm like automatically like, ugh, now I don't want to do it because I have to. It feels like a chore. But by just I just carry around like a little book. Kelsey sees it all the time. And when I feel like I need to write something out, like if there's something in my head or something's bothering me, I put it on paper, and the act of like seeing it out on paper, it's like, oh, it's not just living in my head anymore. Like it doesn't have to just live in my brain and like, circle and spiral and make me go crazy. It's like, oh, it's out on paper. It's out in the world. Okay, I can let it exist, but just not in my head. And it's helped so much. I convinced like 3 of my friends to do it because they're like, oh, I'm really anxious because I was really anxious earlier this summer. And I was like, let me just try writing it out. Let me just see. I've heard so many experts talk about it, and it's been game changing.
Wow.
Game changing. And I mean, it's not an automatic feel better, but it helps. And yeah, it's been really good, and it's helped my friends too. So if anyone out there is feeling a little anxious, I would suggest giving this a try. Even if you don't like it, force yourself to do it the first time. Like force yourself. I had to really force myself. And then if it's good for you, then keep going.
Well, you can keep learning from yourself when you do it because you can go back and see where you were. So I have my one journal that I've started at some point in the last few years where I'll just journal whenever I feel like it. And usually it's on a plane. And so I get to look back at where I was mentally when I was flying home for the last time before my mom passed, or how I was after I shot the movie last summer or whatever. And then even on this flight coming home recently, what was cool is it gave me so many breakthroughs that I didn't have before. So I realized, oh my gosh, these things happened in this way, in multiple times, like whether it was like in the middle of devastation, this amazing gift came, or how I was able to get past a really tough moment. And you're having these realizations as you're writing it. You're like, oh shit. Like I literally would look at Kevin and be like, holy shit, we didn't even think about this. Did you realize that beep, 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 and boop, 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 boop? So journaling can do that.
How has your grounding been? Have you still been doing that?
Every day. Did it this morning. Grounding every day. And what else? I'm going to incorporate some exercise finally. I'm going to try to do some of that.
Love.
I've been, Dr. Allison has me on these Quinton supplements. They're like, not supplements, they're hydrations.
Oh.
So I've been doing those. I got this light water stuff that helps remove deuterium from water.
What is that?
Deuterium is, I guess, really bad for you. I don't know everything about it yet. So at some point she'll come on, she'll explain all of these things. So you do 3 parts regular water, and then the 4th part is the deuterium. I've been doing my glasses and supplements that she gave me, and all the things. Ice face baths, doing the icing.
I've heard that's great for anxiety and your skin.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been doing all the things, friends.
I love it.
I'm very committed to my summer of heal. So I hope you guys are too, and I hope it's been going great. It's still summer, which is crazy. I felt like summer was over.
I know.
And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, we still have plenty of summer left.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2 weeks, because it does go into like Labor Day.
Yeah. That's like, yeah. I mean, we have a minute.
I mean, for LA, we have summer till November.
That's what I was going to say. It's hard for us because I still am like September summer over here, but yeah, and maybe not the rest of the world.
Yeah. I'm excited because I'm going to try to go so I'm going to Dr. Joe again.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to the advanced retreat in Marco Island. And then from there, I think I'm going to fly up to Boston and spend a little bit more time in Connecticut. I mean, there's really no better place to heal than there. It's, as Dr. Allison said, it's a real healing vortex. So I'm going to spend some more time with my dad.
Oh,
and so probably like a 2-week sitch.
Is the Dr. Joe retreat another like really long one, or
No,
is it?
It's only 3 days, I think, 3-ish days.
So like a little intensive.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm excited because it's like you need that zhuzh.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to get my zhuzh.
Nice.
And it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. And then
So
be
much
back
good
here
stuff.
for the better weather. I just want to evade more of this like crazy heat if possible.
Yeah.
So, all right, friends, before we get to our chat with Shar, have you gone to Macy's.com/better together lately? We have some really cool items on there. I'm sure if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me sporting all of mine. I have some shoots coming up that it's funny, like I use that as my kind of mood board. So I find things, I put them there, and then when I need them, I go and buy them. So it's like my storage, actually.
That's perfect.
So I have some shoots coming up where I'm like buying things and getting ready. But if you need anything in the wardrobe or houseware or whatever department, we've got our top picks in there. We continuously update it. And of course, anytime you buy from that page, you support the show. So we are super grateful to you guys. And then obviously to Macy's for being such a great partner with us, because they help us be able to do this every single day. And we love doing this every day, and we love bringing it to you. So support the show, pick up something nice for yourself on Macy's.com/better together. In the meantime, Char Margolis is an internationally acclaimed psychic intuitive medium who's been using her gifts to help people for more than 45 years. Her main goal is to help others tap into their intuitive psychic powers and to teach others to live with love instead of fear. She's the author of several books, including The Universe is Calling You and You Are Psychic, which is the one I just held up and I have right here. Since childhood, her abilities have included being able to see spirits, read thoughts, and foresee events. Heal Squad, welcome Char Margolis. Hi, Shar.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good, and it's wonderful to see you.
Wonderful to see you. It's been a long time. I think last time I saw you, I was on Shar Vision on your show.
You were, and you were amazing. Because to just let your audience know, we do a thing called School for Psychics, and I had Maria and Ross on, and you really, I've done it many times, and you were like one of the very, very best.
No way.
I swear to God, I'm not just saying it because I'm on your show, and I'm not just saying it. I really mean it. You went into the zone.
I just got chills. So I was going to say to everybody, what's so funny about you writing this book now is that was probably like 10 years ago or 8 years ago, something like that. And that was and has been your goal, is to teach people that they are psychic, because she put us to the test. She's like, all right, read me. And I'm like, But you have to trust, as you say in the book, you have to trust your gut and just say what you feel or say what comes to mind. And things were coming to mind. And she was like, yep.
Well, everyone has a sixth sense, and everybody has intuition. And the universe always tips us off when we listen. And we live in a physical world, and we live in an energetic world. And there's positive and negative energy in both. So it's really important to know that we all have guardian angels and spirit guides, and our loved ones who have crossed over to the other side still come and help us. And because love is the bridge that connects us, and there's nothing more powerful than love. And we're guided. We're all guided. It's just learning to understand it and learning to accept it and not doubting it.
Char, do you believe in God?
Yes, absolutely.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
One of the dilemmas I've found myself in recently, and I'm sure others have as well, when you have someone that was very close to you that's passed on, like my mom, how...
And I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. How do you distinguish between, I think my mom's making some stuff happen, and then not? I'm like, I don't want to offend God. So I'm like, no, God, it's you. No, it's Mom. I don't know.
Well, spirits, I always say spirits are just dying to talk to us. Bada bing, bada boom. But really, spirits use their energy to let us know they're here. So I would say maybe your mom comes as something of nature. Like you might see, I was thinking earlier that you might see a butterfly or a hummingbird, and you may not, and you think that's your mom.
Yeah, those are both the ones that I usually
I was
associate with her.
thinking that before we started, and I felt your mom telling me, if you don't mind me expressing this, that she's both. She's both. So that's your mom. So, God is love, and love is God. So any connection that we have that's rooted in love is a positive God happening. So of course it's your mom. And I knew this. I literally was in my kitchen thinking, okay, she's confused about the butterfly and the hummingbird.
No way.
I swear to God, I thought that, and I thought, I'm going to express this to Maria, if that's okay. And also spirits have learned, not every spirit, but spirits learn to make the lights go on and off, the TV go on and off. You might be thinking of your loved one and boom, on your phone pops up their photo. Or you're asking for a sign and something like that happens.
But can they do things like, so you communicate with them. So can they be making things happen in your life? Yeah. I mean, other than just making their presence known, that's where I get confused. Cause I'm like, I feel like she is changing games up there for me.
Right. Well, I feel like you have a cheerleader over there.
Oh yeah.
And the more support we have, the more love we have, the more positive protection we have, the more opportunities can come to us. Absolutely. Before my mom passed away, she had a dream that I had 14 opportunities, and they're happening, and they've happened. And so I always believe that when we ask for a sign, we can get one. Interestingly enough, my mom comes as a butterfly to our family. Like a lot of people have different dragonfly, butterflies. Some spirits drop pennies or dimes or nickels. Some spirits come as a deer. I mean, it just depends. But I was in Fryman Canyon in Los Angeles, and this was before I had a cell phone, and I was hiking, and I had a feeling. I just thought I'm going to ask my mom for a sign, and we're hiking up this mountain. I turn a corner, and there were literally hundreds of butterflies, and I mean hundreds.
Whoa.
And I didn't have a cell phone, and I thought I knew I wasn't seeing things, but I would put my hands out, and it was like butterfly wings were hitting me. I went, oh my God, that's a bug. And then I went, no, but it's my mom. And there was one other girl on the mountain, and I said, do you believe this? And she said, it's unbelievable. And it was like, they must have been migrating at that very moment. It was crazy. And then the weirdest thing is, I don't know if you've ever hiked that mountain, but at the very top of that mountain is a bench. Mm-hmm. And I went and sat on the bench, and there's a little dedication plaque. And my mother's first name was on the dedication plaque. Not that it was to her, but it was literally her name. And if you go up there, you can see it.
And you had never noticed it before, I bet.
No.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting to think about how to tap into all of these realms and spirits and figure out how to communicate with them. I know that for you were psychic as a child. I mean, you very early on knew things, and your family supported you in them. Mm-hmm. So you probably had a lifetime to cultivate them, right? Whereas other people were afraid to be weird, or were like, oh, no.
Right. Like I saw a spirit, our house had been broken into, and 2 weeks later, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed, and he was wearing rags, and I could see through him. And he had this pouch, and he dipped his hand in the pouch and he went like this, and all these gold lights landed on me. And as they landed on me, they evaporated. And I was scared to death. And I put the blankets over my head and I started pinching myself. And I said, the next morning, I ran in the kitchen. I said, Mommy, the burglars were here again today. And without skipping a beat, she said, oh, no, honey, that was just the Sandman. I said, there's a Sandman. And, you're too young, but years ago, there was a song called Mr. Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, oh, so there must be a Sandman. And my mom, when I was 4 years old, my dad took me grocery shopping, and my mom would always look at the bill when we got home. And when she looked at the bill, I said, Mommy, that lady cheated us. And she looked at the bill and they did overcharge us. And 2 weeks later, we went to lunch and my mom got the bill. And I said, Mommy, I think that lady cheated us. I don't know why I said that, but they did. And my mom looked, they overcharged us 10 cents at that time. That was a lot of money. Not a lot, but substantial money. You could buy a cup of coffee with that then. And so it was like they listened. And also because my dad was very intuitive. And so we never ignored those feelings.
And your sister was too. She was super psychic, you said.
Both my sisters are. And my older sister is a doctor of psychology and does past life regressions.
So cool. So do you feel that women are more psychic than men?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, look at John Edward.
Of course. No, and I know that there are men who are psychics, but we always talk about women intuition.
Well, I think there's also father's intuition. I think women are more open to accepting it and are not afraid to have emotions and feelings, where a lot of men are afraid to be sensitive to things.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, I feel that that when you said to me, well, I worked at it all my life, which I have, but I feel like the veil now between here in the spirit world and here in our intuition is thinner now, because I feel like the young kids that are being born now are much more open to it and use it.
Well, because I think the conversation around energy is so strong, and you talk about it in the book too, good versus bad energy. And it's been more socially acceptable in their time than it was in even my time, let's say, right?
Right. Well, I really, in my next birthday, which is next week.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. I've been doing this for like 50 years. One day I thought, if I'm really supposed to get this work out and be a soldier for this work, then I should probably try to get on TV in Los Angeles. So I called 411 in Los Angeles. We had landlines then, only landlines. There were maybe only 4 networks or 3 networks at that time on television. And I called and I said, I used to do a show called Kelly and Company in Detroit, and it was a talk show, morning talk show. And I called and I said, can I have the number of AMLA? And the operator said, honey, I think you want KABC. I said, oh yeah, okay. And I called and I said, who's the executive producer? And they said, Mr. Ron Ziskin. And I said, okay. And I hung up. And then I called back and I said, it was a lot of money then to call long distance. And I called and asked for Ron Ziskin. He took my call and he had me. And I said, I'm on Kelly and Company in Detroit. I read for his associate producer. Her name was Donna Lusitana. And she said, I blew her away. And she said, can you get out to LA? I've never been there. And I said, yeah, I said, I can. And I went and I had like $200 saved to my name because I had just gotten divorced. And I used that $200 and I went there and they put me up at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And everybody said, if Regis likes you, you'll do well in this work, meaning TV. And if he doesn't, you won't. And Regis took to me and I got an apartment in 1984. And I still have the apartment in Hollywood Hills.
No way.
I do.
Well, it's funny you bring Regis up because one of the things that, I mean, I love all your stories. And by the way, I love Chris Colfer's forward in the book. What a beautiful tribute to your friendship.
That's
And
so kind. It was a love letter.
it really was. It was really sweet.
Thank you
But
so much.
I love the story about Kelly Ripa because I feel like I had heard it before, but then hearing you tell the whole story again was really cool. So I couldn't tell though, was she still auditioning technically?
Yes.
She didn't have the job. Was she might
No,
have been scared she
no,
wasn't going to get the job.
Right. What happened was they were auditioning different people. And I had thought, well, maybe I should go on at Halloween because I'm a psychic or whatever. And the booker, her name's Joanne Salzman, who is still a dear friend of mine, said, "No, you're not a Halloween psychic." She said, "You're the real deal." And she said, I feel like you should be on November, whatever it was, 4th or 6th or whatever it is. I said, okay. And so, excuse me, so they're producing the show and they thought, oh, well, you should read for the person who's auditioning named Kelly Ripa. I said, okay. And I kind of knew who she was from the soap opera, All My Children, but I mean, I didn't know her. I didn't know anything about her. And I read for her and I said, there's a woman here and her name, and there's an E initial. And she said, yes. And I said the name Esther. And I said, she's holding a baby, but logically, I know you just had a baby, and then there's a D initial. And I said, are you pregnant? And Regis goes, are you not telling us something, Kelly? And she goes, oh my God, my bosses don't even know. and then after the fact, she said her nickname was D. And she said, I forgot to tell you that. And the extra part to the story is they were both on Shar Vision, my podcast, Kelly and Mark.
Was that recent?
Yeah, during the pandemic.
Yeah, okay.
They came on to talk about quarantining and how they were going through it. And I actually did school for psychics with them as well. And so Mark said, and I never knew the story. He said, I was watching. He said, my jaw dropped to the floor. He said, no one knew but me and Kelly. No one knew. And he said, I couldn't believe it.
I love it.
It's been that one moment, it made Access Hollywood moment, video of the day or whatever, but it's the gift that keeps giving. And I feel like I had the opportunity to do that. So to help me get the work out, because I've always been on a mission to get the work out.
Yeah. I wonder too, if that didn't tip the scale for her to get that job, because it was such a big moment. People love babies and all of a sudden it's like, here's this cool TV moment.
She has said on the air, I think it's because of you that I got the job. And I can't say, oh yeah, well, maybe it was. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I said, you got the job because you were, talented, but it was an amazing moment to, show her real true self. And her she was flabbergasted. And I don't know, she's very sweet about it. She always gives me kudos about it. And she always says, I appreciate you.
She's a really unique and cool girl because I fill in for her a lot on the show.
I know, and you do a great job. I've seen you.
Thank you. And
you look gorgeous, and you can tell that Ryan loves you.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, she's so lovely and so supportive and nice, and Marcus too. And she's really blown me away so many times. I read in the book that she said when she saw Mark, she knew that was her husband. And I had the same experience with Kevin. When I met Kevin, I knew he was the one.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps. That's
instantly
amazing. Like you saw him across a crowded room and I went, oh my God, that's going to be my husband. That's amazing that happened to you.
Yeah, I know. So it was like, oh, next time I see her, I'm going to have to tell her we both had the same experience.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But I feel like some people are blessed with that opportunity. And I also feel that we have karma with people from other lifetimes, that we're brought back together in this lifetime to fulfill our purpose with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obvious, and some things are meant to be, like, I feel that if you read the story about, I was at my wedding and I was ready to walk down the aisle,
and you knew it wasn't.
And I had this gut feeling, this isn't going to work. And oh my God, how could I do that? My dad spent all this money on this wedding, and the man I loved was at the altar. And I just had this gut feeling, and I thought, I shouldn't be thinking this. And I started skipping down the aisle, and people were going, oh, there goes Charlene, which is my full name. And she's just being silly and whatever, but because people didn't dance or skip or anything.
No one skips down the aisle. Yeah.
I did it to get to put the thought away out of my head. But I do believe I was supposed to be married to him to learn certain life's lesson and to fulfill my karma with him.
When I was reading that, I thought I instantly had a moment where I was transported to Kim Kardashian's first wedding, because I was sitting at the wedding.
You were?
And I turned to see her walking up the aisle. And I said, Kevin, something's wrong. And I go, something's wrong. Something's not right. And I said, I don't think she wants this. And I get the chills just thinking about it. And he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and then of course she says she knew it was the wrong thing to do, or she didn't want to marry him. But there was so much international, spotlight on her at the time that, she went through with it because she didn't know how to get out of it.
But that was your intuition picking up on her feelings at that moment. And because there's two ways of being psychic. It's psychic at random when you're in your busiest part of your day and something says, call your friend, call your mother, call your sibling, somebody needs you. And you go and you call them. And then there's psychic on demand, where you feel someone's energy and then you say the first thing that comes to you, which is what you did on Shar Vision. And that you were really good at. And so it came to you at random at her wedding. And, what a thing to think at somebody's wedding, that you want to wish them well and you want to wish them blessings and a wonderful life together. But
it's the energy you feel.
You felt the energy.
Yeah. And, I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about kind of the steps for people to learn how to lean into their psychic abilities, because all over this, it's like you are psychic.
Right.
And so, and whether it's psychic at random or on demand, like I was at a spa once and this woman walked by me and I said, oh my gosh, Kevin. And I just started feeling something in my heart. So I feel things in my body. So I felt my heart. I go, something's wrong with her. Something's wrong with her heart. And then she sat in the lounge chair furthest away from me and just started bawling.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, how did you know that? Or I can, if I just will feel someone's illness in a different part of their body. And I'm like, and it takes me a long time of courage to say, hey, is there something going on like in your thigh area, like your groin area recently? Right. And this guy goes, how do you know? I'm like, I don't know. I just feel it in myself. It's hurting me all of a sudden being near you.
You may be a medical medium because you picked up on the heart thing and you picked up on something on the groin area or whatever. So you may have that kind of gift that you can tell about people's health problems.
Who knows?
Like a lot of people have different avenues. Like some people are better at finding missing people or finding missing things. And some people are, know more about health things. And some people are better with, picking up on romance or just mediumship and connecting with the loved ones and who are deceased and know exactly what they're saying and doing.
So how do you learn to trust the voices, the thoughts, the feelings?
That's really, I always say we need to be psychologically balanced, physically, emotionally, and psychologically balanced to use our psychic abilities. And a lot of it has to do with self-esteem and how you were raised and were you taught to be confident. And then, which, obviously, I mean, I know you had an amazing relationship with your parents, or you do, or you still do. Your mom's in spirit, but you still do. And you were given a lot of support and positivity. And I think that has something to do with it, because I call it the four C's. We have to have the courage, confidence, commitment to conquer our abilities. And confidence is a big one. And then the courage to give it a try, courage, confidence, commit to doing it. And then acting upon it is by conquering it, is by acting upon it. But also I have to reiterate that not everybody's meant to be a professional psychic. There's people on TikTok that are a dime a dozen saying they're psychic, and they are irresponsible. And there's some that are really good too, but you have to weed them out. You have to know. But I feel like some people whose intent is pure, it means a lot. If they're honest people and their intent is pure and they're not trying to take advantage of others, that's really important.
Mm-hmm. I know. I had to learn kind of the hard way with, you have to be very selective who you allow to read you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had someone read me that it was a very, very bad situation. And this person was trying to place things on me that they wanted off of them. And
that's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it was very, very scary. So after that experience, I said, I have to be very careful who I allow to do this. And I say it every time I can so that people can be careful, because, they can shift energy your way and take things off their incoming and give it to you.
Exactly. And that's why I always teach in my book, and I tell all my students, I do life coaching now, and I teach, and I tell everyone to protect themselves. It's the most important thing you can do, is put yourself in a white light. I tell people to put yourself in a white light, and then put yourself, and all the goodness is inside the white light with you. And then put yourself in, the love is there. And then you put yourself inside an egg like this that has a mirror around it. So anything dark or negative coming at you, you send back to where it came from.
I love that. Well, I saw the prayer. I thought that was really cool, because then you have something you can read that's easy. But I love the mirror and the egg.
Yeah, it really makes a difference, because you want to send the negative back to where it came from. And as I said earlier, we live in a physical world and we live in an energetic world, and there's good and evil in both. And there are some psychics, especially those who were raised by the British spiritualists, who think, it's all good and hunky-dory and positive. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Hitler did not go to the same place that Mother Teresa went to. There are different, I call, neighborhoods over there. And it's important to live with a clear conscience and with compassion and kindness and love. And if we make a mistake, so we forgive ourselves. But ill intent doesn't work. And you water meets its own level. And so you resonate with that kind of energy. So a serial killer is not going to go to the same place as somebody who's a healer.
Yeah. What do you do? You talk about in the book how your thoughts are so powerful and your thoughts become reality. And I believe all of that. So how do you kind of reconcile that with, if you have these feelings of something bad happening, right? And you talk about fear and how detrimental fear can be. How do you kind of deal with that? If there is incoming energy or fear that's hitting, and now your thoughts are filled with fear that something's about to happen, how do you deal with that so that you can maybe negate the energy and stop it if possible?
Well, I call fear the 4-letter F word, false evidence appearing real. So I didn't make that up. Somebody else told that to me. I forgot. I think my niece told that to me. And when people are going to overthink things, and some people who don't have faith, you need to turn your faith to fear. If you live in fear, you're never going to know when you're tipped off intuitively. But if you live with faith and you know you're protected, and you know your mom's with you, you understand that her spirit is guiding you and helping you. And we also have guardian angels that were chosen to walk with us since birth. We have an inner band of 7 and an outer band of 7. So, I can tell it. So I've always been confident that I have a guardian angel and spirit guide, and more than one, but people need to own their power and understand that. And then when they know that they're guided, because the universe will always tip us off. always, if there's something that's not right, we might be too emotionally involved to accept it, but the universe will always tip us off. So like when I first started, I thought, oh, wow, I have a Native American spirit guide, and I knew it, and I knew his name was White Feather. And literally when I would be on TV with Regis, they would float out of thin air when we were on AMLA, dating myself way back to AMLA on KABC. And then I once, when he went to New York, I was on TV with him in New York, and we went to lunch, and we were in a snowstorm, and literally in a snowstorm, a white feather floated in front of us. It was crazy, but I get these signs all the time. I have never doubted in my whole life that there's not a spirit world. There is. I know it.
So how do we kind of distinguish those feelings? Like if you are having those fearful thoughts?
Well,
how do you know whether it's a fearful thought or if it's...
Thoughts are things, thoughts create reality. So negative attracts negative and positive attracts positive. When you live with faith and then you get a warning about something, you better listen to it.
Okay.
But if you live in fear all the time and you overthink things, like I know some people that do that, you're not always going to know when you're being intuitive. You have to be settled in feel protected. And then your warning will come. But if people who live in fear constantly can't really develop their intuition because they're living with too much anxiety.
Yeah, that was me before Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations.
Well, how great that you well, I can tell you did a beautiful piece on me years ago on your TV show. I forgot the name of it. You did a whole piece on me.
I can't remember which show, but I know we did.
You've been on so many. I think it was something with Maria Menounos. I forgot. And I can tell now that you're so much more settled. I'm talking maybe like 15 years ago or something that you did that piece. And I can tell how much more settled and peaceful you are.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel it. Yeah.
And thank God, because, anxiety and stress causes health problems. You don't want to bring, but I think you've been divinely protected and guided, because I know logically you had a health issue, and it wasn't an easy health issue to get through, but you were protected and divinely protected and guided. Mm-hmm. And thank God, touch wood, you're good. You're healthy and you're well. Thank God.
Thank God is right. But that is also, I do believe that I am protected. I think I can get knocked off kilter, but mm-hmm. I do know that everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. And there's, right, as you talk about in the book, the toughest moments are your greatest learning lessons. And so when I'm in them, it might mm-hmm. take a second. I got to get up and dust myself off and all right, okay, there's something here I have to learn. There's something here I have to get through to get right to the other side of. And I think so many things have happened now, Shar, that I get up so much faster.
That's so amazing. Well, I suggest to do the white light and the mirrored egg thing as well, because it brings peace to you. Like even if you wake up in the middle of the night or whatever, but you just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and you move on, because it's not the end of the world. You can keep recreating and recreating your career and recreating your life, and you'll always have loved ones around you because you're a pure good soul.
Thank you. Well, I always think there's a solution to everything, even the things that we don't have solutions to. For example, we recently did an interview with Alyssa Goodman. She's a nutritionist who had Hashimoto's, cancer, celiac disease, all these things. And she's healed herself of all of them. And I have a friend who was diagnosed with celiac and has just been devastated and just can't find his way through it. And I said, we'll find a solution. We'll figure it out. So we found her. And I'm listening to her talk about her remission and how she can eat gluten now and all of that. And I'm bawling inside my body because I know now there's hope for him and anybody else who's listening. So I always tell people the things we're stressed about and we're worried about right now in this moment are already figured out, or we're going to figure out how to live with them, work around them, get past them over here. So now you have a choice. How do you want to spend that time in between? Do you want to deteriorate yourself with worry and stress more now to get to it? Or do you want to just say, okay, I know, because this is what I've learned now at the ripe age of 44. I know, Shar, that whatever it is right now that's bothering me is going to be gone in 24 hours, 48 hours, or a week. So why give myself any more stress?
Exactly. And what people need to understand is that life is a school. That's why we're here. It's all about the lessons. It's all about having self-love and, not being selfish, but always put yourself first so you can take care of yourself, so you can take care of others. And it's all about learning the lessons and moving forward with it and having compassion and learning forgiveness, learning to forgive others, learning to forgive ourselves. There's so many life's lessons that we're all going through all the time. And this whole thing with COVID and people being, like a lot of people have had so many hard lessons with it. And with politics and the anger that's going on and how things are divided. And the most important thing is that we learn to work together. And, I always say if we took one problem at a time in the world and everybody worked together and prayed for it, that we could solve each problem, like climate change.
And we're better together.
Yeah, exactly. I love the name. I have to back up for one quick second because I'm quelling inside that you keep quoting my book. Thank you for quoting my book.
Of course.
This is like the first book I ever wrote without a ghostwriter.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, it's great. And, I think that, it's such an easy read and it's so great. You have so many great stories in there about your own life and how you kind of found your way. So congrats. And like I said, I was shocked. I was like, wow, she's been doing this forever.
Forever.
You could have written this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but it's perfect timing.
But, oh my God, the light went out by itself. I can't believe, okay, I swear to God, I didn't touch it. I swear to God, I didn't touch it. That must be your mother.
What's she saying, Shar?
Well, I think maybe I keep reinventing myself. Like I'm on TikTok now and, come on, I'm going to be 71 years old.
71? What?
Yeah.
I thought you said it was your 50th birthday.
Oh, get out of here.
I swear to God.
I said I've been doing this 50 years.
I thought 50 years because you did it since you were a child, technically.
Oh, I love that you think that. Thank you. It's the lighting and I cannot believe that light just went out by itself. So
that's so funny.
As long as you'll always do well. But there's always probably reasons that you keep having to reinvent yourself or whatever. And I understand you're doing Roku now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I just found out that the Char Vision is going to be on Roku.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
starting
awesome.
September 1st.
Oh, cool.
So UPN Network's going to Roku. And Kelsey said to me, well, Maria's the host of it. I said, you're kidding. She goes, no. I said, that's amazing. I have Roku.
That's so funny. Yeah.
You will always do well.
Well, you have to keep evolving. I think for me, I never have a plan. I just always say, God, take me where I'm supposed to go. And I'll be a good person. I'll work hard. Just show me the way because I don't know where to go. I never have known where to go. I was never going to be an entertainment reporter. I wanted to be a sports reporter, if anything. And I wanted to host the Today Show. That was my dream. Of course, a really nice man extinguished that, but that's a different story. I wasn't meant to be there. But I think that, for me, it's always been like, take me where I'm supposed to go. And it's funny because I was telling Kelsey yesterday, my mom reached out to a medium, Marianne DeMarco. And she's like, Maria, she's like, your mom wants to talk to you. And I was like, okay. And my mom said that I was going to be acting more. And I'm like, what is she
That's so weird. I swear to God, I was just thinking that you're going to do some acting. Did you just do something?
I did, but it was so strange because a Christmas movie came into my life after my mom died, and
Amazing.
it was on my vision board for that year. Only thing under the acting category was bucket list. I have to do a Christmas movie. And Kevin and I love Christmas, and of course it was going to be a tough one without my mom for the first time. So I got that movie. And then she said that I was going to be doing more acting. I'm like, what is she talking about? I am like so deep and better together, health, wellness, tapping into like my healing stuff and all of that. And then I got another one. It was funny because Kevin goes,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, earlier this summer, he goes, why aren't you campaigning for another movie? I'm like, I don't know, because I did it. I'm good. And then they called me and they're like, hey, we want to offer you the lead role. And I'm like, no. I said no.
Oh my God, you got the lead role?
Yeah. And then Kevin's like, no, you have to do this. So I ended up doing it. And it was life-changing in so many ways, which was super cool. But it's funny because I know, is orchestrating stuff behind the scenes.
I completely agree with you. I mean, seriously, that light went out by itself and I didn't touch it. I swear to God.
She's funny
sure that's
too.
your mom.
She's funny like that too.
Does she make things go on like in your home as well, like lights on and off, or?
I have noticed a few things like that, but I wasn't attributing it to her 100% because, you kind of just start to think, oh, I'm nuts. I'm going to think everything is her. But yeah, it's funny. So when you are, by the way, trying to reach a deceased loved one, what are some of the best ways for people to access somebody that they love on the other side?
Well, it's okay to talk to them, and it's okay to say, if you're here, please give me a sign. So, you may be like driving the car and all of a sudden the license plate in front of you has their initials on it. Or, you might see a billboard that says your mom is here, or whatever it is, it'll be subtle and simple. It's not like you'll always get, a sentence in your head that's exact. But a lot of times spirits can only come when we're sleeping.
I was just going to ask you that. That's so funny that you talk about in your dreams. They might not be 100% the way it is. Like if your tooth, you said, fell out, doesn't mean you're going to lose a tooth, but.
Right. Because we're so busy all day long that the only time they can get to us is when we're sleeping, when our mind is more settled and quiet. And so there's different. And so you talk to them and say, please give me a sign. When my mom passed away, we're Jewish. So we said Shiva, which means we go to a family person's house and feed everybody. And it's all about the food and celebration of life and prayer. We do prayer. And it was my mom passed away in December, and it was in 1999, and it was a snowstorm. And I said, I don't even think I wrote about this in the book, which I really should have. And I asked for a sign. I said, Mom, if you're here. Now, my parents owned a furniture store, and we had this cream colored truck that said Margolis on the side of the truck. And I asked for a sign. And before I knew it, I looked to the right. There's a smaller cream colored truck that says Margolis Nursery on it. I swear this happened. So it's in a snowstorm. The roads are slippery when I'm in Michigan, and I follow the truck, and they go into a parking lot, and the guy was in overalls because he was, he was a nursery person, and the wife was there, and I'm sure the wife thought I was nuts. And I said, I know this sounds crazy. I said, but my mom just passed away, and I asked for a sign. No, I know they thought it was nuts. And I said, and I would you come over and sit Shiva with us? We have so much food. Come eat with us. Please come eat with us. And the man and the woman goes, no. We're going to go to this restaurant. I said, well, will you just come to my sister's? Because I want to show both my sisters the sign that I got from Mom so they could see it too, because it's so important for them to see it. And so the guy said, yeah, we'll come after. And guess what? They came, they drove up my sister's drive. It's still snowing. I have my sisters come out and look at the truck that says Margolis Nursery on it.
Wow.
It's a true story.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think asking for signs is very validating. You can get weird ones sometimes. Like when my mom was sick, I said, God, send me a white bird and let me know that she's going to be okay, when her tumor had come back. And I was so scared. And I just was like, I don't know what else to do. I just asked for a sign. Tell me she's going to be okay. And she could barely walk. But I was like walking
Aw.
her around the front yard. And I said, you know what? Let's just go outside. So we walked outside. The second we're passing my first neighbor's house, I see a dead white bird,
Oh my God.
but it's beheaded. The head is
Oh my
nowhere to be
God.
found. So I start freaking out and my mom goes, what's wrong? And my friend that was with me, I go, that was the sign that you're going to be okay, but something doesn't feel right about this because it doesn't have a head.
Oh no.
And then my friend, who's very intuitive too, goes, well, maybe it's because whatever's going on in her head is going to get better. And I said, well, the head is gone. So whatever was in the head is going to be gone. And I think she made it another 2 years after that. So
God bless her. 2 years is a long time. She probably surprised the doctors as well.
oh, my mom made it 5 years with stage 4 brain cancer. She surprised
now
them.
that's a miracle.
Yeah.
A lot of that had to do with her attitude
Yep.
and the love around her, and that she wanted to live.
Yep. Yeah.
And
100%.
And she didn't want to leave you.
No.
Yeah, she didn't want to leave you. Can I
No.
tell you a funny story in my book?
Yeah.
So on Shar Vision, I have people call in, and I asked if people had a near-death experience, which means that they're proclaimed dead, but their ethereal body leaves their physical body, and their ethereal body is their spirit body, and they look down and they see what's going on or whatever, or they go to the spirit world. They start going to the white tunnel. So there's this woman who had a near-death experience, and when she died, her body stopped, and she went to the most magnificent place. It's like they say, you don't even see color. You can't even imagine what color is. You become color. You don't see music. You become music. And she saw people she knew, and she loved them, but she couldn't say who they were. So they must have been her guardian angels. And she was so happy. And they said to her, you have to, the guardian angel says to her, you have to go back. And she goes, what? No. I'm staying here. I need to stay here. And she goes, no, you have to go back. Deanna needs you. Your daughter needs you. And she goes, no. I'm staying here. I'm staying here. And the next thing she goes, whoosh, she's back in her body. Her body's going again. Her daughter's standing with her. She did not talk to her daughter for 6 weeks. She was so mad at her.
No.
Because her daughter needed her, and that's why she had to come back.
Oh, that's hilarious. She's a funny one. My dad has the exact same story. My dad died and then saw me from above bawling over the hospital bed. And they said the same thing. You got to go back. You got to go back. And he was like, I don't want to. But then he felt bad when he saw me and he came back.
Oh, that's an amazing story. Maybe that's why I brought that story up.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this is literally the exact same story.
Wow.
So, Shar, the book is
Except your
amazing.
dad wasn't mad at you.
No, he wasn't mad at me. The book, friends, is called You Are Psychic, 7 Steps to Discover Your Own Psychic Abilities. It's a great quick read. And for anybody who feels like they have this inner knowing that they want to cultivate, because P.S., it's really helpful in life. Once you start to learn to trust yourself when you're in a business meeting, you're in life. I mean, the elevator story in here, I get the chills when she's in an elevator and she feels the dark energy from this guy. And the second she gets off, he gets off. And, you snuck into an open elevator really quickly to evade him. I've had those feelings too, because you just know.
Right.
But the problem is people don't listen. Like there was a story months ago about a girl from Pacific Palisades. She was working in a furniture store. Mm-hmm. And she had a bad feeling about a guy who came in the store. It's a really horrible story, guys. Prepare. This is not a good one. And she had a horrible feeling. She texted a friend. She said, I have a bad vibe from this guy. I'm really scared. And within minutes, she was bludgeoned to death.
Oh, my God.
If she had listened to her intuition. Now, we don't know the circumstances. Could she have exited? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she was stuck. But that's a horrible, horrible story, but an example to say why cultivating your intuition and really learning to get the confidence to trust yourself is important so that you don't second guess yourself for any reason at all. and you escape a situation before anything happens.
And it's a subtle thought. So it's not like a booming voice of God comes and says, get out of here now. It's just a subtle little thought. So that's why we need to be in tune with it and understand it. That's why I'm teaching now. I'm teaching people, and I'm doing groups and I'm doing privately, to teach them to learn to listen to that God voice, whatever you want to call it, that intuition, to stay out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm. See?
You know, if people want to get a hold of me, can I tell them?
Absolutely. We'll put in the summary of the show.
My website is char.net, char.net. If they want to, learn or whatever, or just say hi.
Yes. And we'll have our Instagram in the summary of this as well. So you guys can find her and learn more about her classes and stuff. Shar, thank you so much.
Oh my God. It's so my honor, my privilege, my pleasure. And thank you so much for helping me out to help others. I really appreciate it. You are so lovely.
Oh my God. Anytime. All righty, ladies.
Oh, I just love her.
Do you have the confidence to lean into your intuition more?
Heck yeah. I think that I know I'm intuitive, but I think hearing, having episodes like these and hearing from her, it's like, yeah. Or even when she said, I wrote this down, it can be a subtle little thought, a subtle little whisper. I think that's always my thing, where it's like, oh, something needs to be yelling at me, or I need to see those 500 butterflies. And it's like, no, you don't. It can be those little things. And it's just, having the confidence to trust that. So I'm in.
Well, we're very powerful and we don't use, even a speck of it all. So it makes sense that we all have abilities. Some people have more than others, and some people actually devote the time to cultivate it more than others. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny she remembers our episode so well too, because it was very, I was just like, I think I remember something about elephants. She was like, I have them in my front hallway. And I was like, ooh, okay. There were like a bunch of those moments.
I watched a little bit of it. It made me laugh. 2015.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, what year are we in?
To you.
I don't, by the way, we're 2022.
Crazy.
So I signed something the other day, 2022, and I lamented for hours later. Is it 2022 or 2023?
2022.
So, okay, cool.
Wild.
Guess I didn't screw that up. Friends, we have so many lovely reviews. Thank you all for sharing them. This recent one, love this podcast. Absolutely love Maria and all the content she delivers, but also live for the Regular Guy Fridays and the squad. So funny and real. Thank you so much for the dynamics and information shared on both shows. Thank you for being on the journey with us. Thank you for the review. Friends, if you click the link below, you can be directed directly to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing and what you think of the show and how it's helped you. And we're really, really grateful for that. And by the way, if you want a deeper experience, as Shar talked about, join us on Patreon. We do our monthly heal events where you get to have exposure to some of the greatest healers, doctors, minds in a much more intimate situation. So we have a really devoted heal squad in there that loves it, and we love doing them. So Kelsey, will you tell them more about the Patreon membership?
Heck yeah. So you can click the link in our bio on the Better Together Instagram, or you can go to Maria's website, mariamenounos.com. We have different tiers. So the $10 and up tier, you guys get those live monthly heal events, and they're just amazing. I mean, the people we get on these events, half of them don't even do sessions with people anymore. So it's ridiculous, and it's so cool. And I have to say, our last event, Maria, you were doing the movie at this time. It was really special because we had a couple people jumping on and saying that they would be accountability partners for other people in the squad. And it was just like the most special thing ever. But that's what I love about our community. It's just like, it's instant friendship.
So here's the thing. Since Shar, off camera, mentioned that she would do readings for callers, we decided that we would do it for our inner squad, our Patreon members. So we will get Shar to come on to one of the monthly heal events coming up, whichever one is good for her. And we will open it up for however many people she says she can do in a sitting. If it's 10 people she can do mini readings on, we'll have her do, because I've seen John Edward on my show in an hour. He's been able to do a bunch of different callers. So let's see how many she says is doable, and we'll pick randomly and give 10 people inside the $10 tier a chance to have Shar read. And she is bomb.com, friends. She is the real deal. She's amazing. So if you don't already know that after listening to this episode. So join us on Patreon. The link for that is in the summary of this episode, but also at mariamenounos.com. Thank you for being with us. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.